The neon lights over Queens flicker like a bad omen, washing the underground casino in sickly pink and blue. Cigarette smoke hangs heavy over the tables. People shout, laugh, and curse as chips clatter across green felt. Lola Page shoves through the crowd, clutching a thin envelope of cash to her chest. It is her entire paycheck from the dessert shop. Her sneakers squeak on the polished floor as she scans the room. Then she sees him. Her father, Harry Page, is pinned to a table by two huge enforcers in black shirts. His hair is plastered to his forehead with sweat. In front of him lies a messy fan of EOS. On the top one, in thick black ink, is a number that makes Lola's stomach drop. $5 million. Her fingers tighten around the envelope. You have got to be kidding me. At the head of the table, a man in a black tailored suit sits sprawled in a leather chair like it is a throne. A cigar glows between his fingers. His eyes are winter blue and flat as glass. Logan Krause. On paper, he runs Krause Financial Group, a quiet giant in New York finance. Off the books, he is the man people whisper about when they say they are going to the bank. In the wrong part of town. He taps ash into a crystal tray. Harry. He says, voice low and even. I am not a casino. I am a lender. You signed my contract. You owe me $5 million. When do I see it? Harry shakes so hard the ears rustle. Mr. Krause, just give me a little more time. I had a bad streak. I will get it back. I swear. Lola pushes to the edge of the table. Dad. One of the enforcers moves to block her, but Logan lifts his hand slightly. The man steps aside. Logan is curious. Lola steps into the circle of light. Faded hoodie, leggings, messy ponytail. Flower stains stripe one sleeve from her shift at the shop. Her cheeks are flushed, her brown eyes bright and furious. What did you do? She demands. Harry grabs her arm. Lola, go home. No. She snaps. Explain the $5 million. His gaze jumps to Logan, then back to her. Panic twists his features into something desperate. Mr. Krause. He blurts. I do not have the money, but I have her. The whole casino seems to flinch. Lola stares. I am sorry, you have what? Harry points at her arm like she is merchandise. My daughter. She can work, clean, cook. She is healthy. Take her as collateral. She will pay off my debt. Lola feels the floor tilt under her feet. Dad, did you just offer me up like a coupon? Nervous laughter ripples through the onlookers, then dies as Logan stands. He is taller than she expected. The scar cutting his left eyebrow keeps his perfect face from being pretty. His cologne smells expensive and cold. He looks at Harry like he is something unpleasant on his shoe. Then he turns that gaze on Lola. Your father thinks you are worth $5 million. He says. Do you? She swallows, but her chin lifts. My father thinks slot machines are a retirement plan. I would not use him as a reference. The corner of his mouth twitches before he smooths it away. Name. Lola Page. She says. 22. Part-time dessert dealer. Full-time idiot magnet. The crowd snickers. Logan folds his arms. Miss Page, your father owes me $5 million. He says. In my world, that is a life. Sometimes several. And in my world. She says. You cannot squeeze $5 million out of a man who cannot afford socks without holes. She jerks her head at Harry's ankle. The sock peeking out is thin and torn. Someone snorts. Logan ignores it. So here is my counter-offer. Lola says before fear can catch up. You take me instead. Not as some gross toy. As an employee. I work for you until the debt is paid. You do not lay a hand on me. You do not scream in my face. You feed me 3 times a day, and give me a room that does not smell like mold. In return, I clean, cook, and do whatever boring rich guy tasks you need, as long as they're legal. The onlookers go silent. You are negotiating with me. Logan says softly. Damn right. She says. Rule 1 of survival in Brooklyn. Never take the first offer. He stares at her. Most people beg. They cry. They promise things they do not mean. She makes jokes and lays out terms. You understand. He says. That if you fail, the consequences are dire. Lola flicks a glance at Harry, then back. I understand that if I do nothing, you will break my father's legs. Or worse. This way you get labor. He lives. I get a terrible boss and access to better cleaning supplies. Harry chokes. Lola, no, you do not have to. She throws him a look. Sit this one out. Logan's eyes narrow. He taps Ash again, then nods once. Fine. He says. I accept. Harry makes a strangled noise. The enforcers tighten their grip. Logan calls. Vincent. A man in a charcoal suit steps forward, tablet in hand. His tie is slightly crooked, his expression sharp. Draft a collateral agreement. Logan says. Harry Page assigns his debt to his daughter, Lola Page. She is to serve as live-in staff at my primary residence until the debt is satisfied. No transfer, no harm. Vincent's fingers fly over the screen. Yes, sir. Logan looks at Lola. You will live where I tell you, work when I say. You will not run. She meets his gaze without flinching. You keep your side of the deal, I keep mine. Vincent hands her the tablet. Her hand shakes only a little as she signs. Logan signs after her, smooth and practiced. When it is done, the room exhales. The show is over. The noise rises again. The enforcers drag Harry toward the door. Lola pushes an envelope against his chest. Take it, she says. Pay rent. Buy food. Do not come back here. He clutches it like a lifeline. Lola, I am so sorry. Get clean, she says. That is how you say sorry. Then Logan is at her side, his hand on her elbow, guiding her toward another exit. Come on, Miss Page, he says. Time to start paying. She glances back one last time at the casino, at the flashing lights and empty promises, then lifts her chin. Fine, she mutters. Bring it on, Ice King. The Krause estate looks like a glass fortress dropped on a Brooklyn hill. From the outside, it screams money. On the inside, it whispers museum. Lola steps into the marble foyer and feels her soul shiver. Everything is white or gray. The air smells faintly of lemon polish. There is not a single plant, photo, or ugly souvenir mug in sight. Wow, she says. You are allergic to color. Vincent, carrying her tiny duffel, coughs into his fist. Logan ignores her and starts up the wide staircase. 3rd floor. He says. Guest wing. Her new room is bigger than her old apartment. The bed is huge. The sheets are crisp. There is a window with a view of a city she suddenly feels very far away from. This will be your room, Logan says. You wake at 6. Breakfast at 6:30. Carmen, the housekeeper, will give you a list of duties. Dinner is at 8. You cook. So I am a one-woman cleaning service/chef, Lola says. Do I get business cards? Most collateral do not ask for cards. He says. I am not most collateral. She replies. His gaze cools. You are also not a guest. You are here because your father could not stop gambling. Trust me, she says. Nobody knows that better than me. He hesitates at the door. Do not enter my office, ever. That is where you keep your villain cape, she says. He leaves without answering. The next morning at 6 sharp, Carmen bangs on her door. She is tiny, in her 50s, with sharp eyes and a bun that could cut glass. You, Carmen says, looking Lola up and down. Coffee does not make itself. In the kitchen, Lola gets the rundown pantry, fridge, cleaning closet, laundry room. Logan likes his coffee black. He eats plain toast. He expects silence. Lola listens, then opens the fridge and stares at the rows of steak, bottled water, and sad lettuce. Does he know other food groups exist? He likes routine. Carmen says. Lola grins slowly. Lucky for him, I like chaos. By the time Logan comes down, the kitchen smells like cinnamon and sugar. His steps slow at the doorway. On the table sits his black coffee and toast. Next to them is a plate of small cinnamon rolls, still warm. He frowns. What is that? Joy, Lola says from the stove, flipping an egg, also known as cinnamon rolls. I did not ask for them, he says. Technically you did, she says. When you hired a dessert girl as your collateral. She slides a plate toward him. The rolls gleam under the kitchen lights. Vincent appears, sniffs once, and looks like he has seen heaven. Do not, Logan warns. Vincent takes the tiniest roll anyway and nearly moans. Logan finally takes a bite, if only to prove he cannot be seduced by pastry. The dough is soft. The sugar and cinnamon hit something far back in his memory. It is acceptable, he says. Translation. Lola says. You love it. Finish your chores, Miss Page. He replies, but his voice has lost a degree of ice. Days fall into a strange rhythm. Lola cleans with music in her earbuds, singing off-key in the hallways. She rearranges the pillows on the couch into a smiley face. She talks to Carmen, to the plants she sneaks onto windowsills, to Vincent, when he sneaks into the kitchen for leftovers. Logan watches all of it from the edges. He sees her dancing with a mop in the reflection of the glass wall. He hears her laugh drift up the stairs. He finds a sticky note on his fridge that says, "Eat something that is not coffee." One evening, he walks into the gym and stops. The lights are dim. The punching bag that used to be his only company in this room is in the corner. In the middle of the floor, Lola is practicing a clumsy dance routine, counting under her breath. She spins, stumbles, and almost falls. He clears his throat. She jumps. "Oh my God, warn a girl. This is my gym," he says. "Not a dance studio." She plants her hands on her hips. "Then your gym was sad and I fixed it." His mouth opens, then closes again. He turns to leave. Her voice follows him. "Hey, Logan." He pauses. "This house is beautiful," she says. "But it is so empty. Do you even like being here?" He glances around at the spotless walls, the expensive equipment, the view of the city through bulletproof glass. "It is efficient," he says. "That is not what I asked," she says. He does not answer. Instead, he says, "Dinner at 8. And walks out. Lola watches him go and sighs. "Okay, Ice King," she mutters. Challenge accepted. She spends the next day baking. By evening, the house smells like home for the first time since Logan bought it. 3 weeks later, the house has changed. There is still no clutter by Logan's standards, but there are plants now, and a bowl of fresh fruit on the counter. Carmen hums when she works. Vincent comes by more often than strictly necessary. Logan tells himself none of it matters. Then crisis hits. It is almost 8 in the evening when his head of security calls. Logan listens in silence, jaw tightening. "When?" he asks. "Less than an hour ago." The man says. "A copy of the Horizon Capital client file is sitting on our competitor's server." Logan's stomach turns to stone. Horizon Capital is the biggest expansion Kraus Financial has attempted in years. Losing it would be a public humiliation and a financial disaster. "Lock every access point," he says. "I want a list of everyone who touched that file in the last week." He hangs up and looks at the numbers racing across his screens. Stock tickers, market feeds, internal alerts. Vincent stands in the doorway, already pale. "Bad. Someone leaked Horizon," Logan says. "If they move tomorrow morning, they can steal half our clients. Can we stop them?" Vincent asks. "Not if we panic," Logan says. "Get security, legal, and client relations on a call in 20 minutes. The next few hours are a blur of sharp orders and cold fury." Logan's voice stays level, but his shoulders knot like steel cables. Old anger claws its way up his spine. People who played dirty games ruined his childhood. He will not let anyone do that to his company. By midnight, the house is quiet. The only light is under his office door. Lola, on a late-night kitchen raid for water, sees it and hesitates. Carmen told her not to bother him when he looks like that. She ignores the advice. She knocks once and pokes her head in. "Do you at least remember to blink in there?" Logan looks up from 3 glowing monitors. "What are you doing awake?" "I live here," she says. "Also, someone moved my favorite mug. I am investigating." His eyes are darker than usual. His tie is off, sleeves rolled up, hair slightly mussed. He looks less like an untouchable king and more like a man getting punched in the face by numbers. She steps closer. "What happened?" He hesitates, then says. "A file was stolen. A big one." "Stolen how?" she asks. "Internal leak," he says. "Someone with access sold it to our competition." "Yikes," she says. "Can you fix it?" "Maybe," he says. "If we move faster than they do." She circles the desk, looking at the mess of names and charts on his screen. Most of it means nothing to her. She spots a line labeled "Client Follow-Up Schedule." "Those are meetings?" she asks. "Yes," he says. "My team met every client on that list in person. And the thieves did not," she says. "So right now they have data, and you have relationships." He blinks. "Go on. You are always talking about risk," she says. "So hedge it. Call these people before the thieves do. Tell them you are aware of a security issue, you have it under control, and you want them to hear it from you, not some rumor. They might panic," he says. "They might trust you," she says. "Especially if you offer them something small but real, a fee cut, extra reports. People like being treated like people." Vincent, hovering in the doorway, nods. She is not wrong. Lola taps the edge of the desk. "And you have backups, right?" "Of course," Logan says. "Then while your tech goblins chase the rat, you work off the clean backup and stop touching the dirty file," she says. "Less stress for everyone." He stares at her. For all the consultants, analysts, and lawyers on his payroll, none of them said it that plainly. You are suggesting we outrun the leak instead of chasing it first. He says. I am suggesting you do something instead of sitting here grinding your teeth down to dust. She says. Call your people. I will make coffee. Vincent's mouth twitches. I will wake the client team. 2 hours later, Logan's office smells like coffee and adrenaline. He and his senior staff rotate through the phones, calling every Horizon client before dawn. They speak calmly, directly. They offer transparency and small concessions. By morning, the competitor's flashy move lands on mostly deaf ears. Most clients have already recommitted to Krause in writing. The leak is traced to a junior analyst with a secret gambling problem and a boyfriend at the rival firm. Security handles it. Legal circles. The market stabilizes. At 8 a.m., Logan finally sinks onto the office couch, the adrenaline crash hitting him like a truck. His shoulders ache. His head throbs. Someone knocks on the door. He looks up to see Lola, hair in a messy bun, holding a plate. On it sits a lemon cupcake with bright yellow frosting and a tiny candy sun. What is that? He asks. A stress cupcake. She says. Patent pending. I am not hungry. He says. Eat the sunshine. She says. Doctor's orders. You are not a doctor. He says. I watched 3 seasons of a hospital show last month. She says. I am practically licensed. He almost laughs. Almost. He takes the cupcake. The lemon hits his tongue, sharp and sweet. Thank you. He says quietly. She leans against the desk. For the cupcake or the save? Both. He says. She shrugs, suddenly shy. You saved my dad from having his kneecaps broken. Call it even. It is not even. He says. 5 million is not a cupcake. Sure it is. She says. 5 million tiny cupcakes and one good idea. He stares at her for a long moment. A realization lands, heavy and terrifying. She is no longer just collateral. She is his weak spot. Spring creeps over Brooklyn. Trees bloom. Food carts reappear. The Krause estate grows warmer with every day Lola spends in it. Logan starts coming home earlier, pretending it has nothing to do with dinner. He finds excuses to walk through the kitchen while she cooks. He stays in the dining room a little longer after he finishes eating, listening to her talk about the dessert shop. He almost feels like a normal man in a normal house. Then Harry Page rings the doorbell. Lola opens the door with a dish towel over her shoulder and freezes. Harry stands on the front step with a cheap bouquet and a plastic grocery bag. His clothes are clean. His eyes are clearer than she has seen in years. Lola. He says, voice shaking. I found a job. Night shifts at the warehouse. I have been clean for 60 days. No cards. No dice. She crosses her arms. Congratulations. Want a medal? I wanted to see you. He says. And I wanted to thank Mr. Krause. He did something for me. Unease curls in her gut. What did he do? Harry glances past her, into the house. Is he here? Apparently. Logan says, appearing in the hallway, expression shuddered. Mr. Page. I told you not to come here. I know. Harry says quickly. I just wanted to say thank you. You paid off my debt. All of it. You did not have to. Lola feels the world tilt again. He what? She turns on Logan. You paid it? His jaw flexes. Yes. When? She demands. A month ago. He says. After your father signed a contract. He works a real job now. He stays away unless you invite him. You paid $5 million. She says, voice rising. And never thought to mention it. His gaze holds hers. I did not want that number hanging over you anymore. So you erased it. She says. And kept me here like nothing changed. It did change. He says. You are not here because of a debt anymore. You are here because you chose to stay. Her laugh is brittle. News flash, Logan. Choices require information. You made a decision about my life, and did not bother to tell me. Harry winces. Lola, sweetheart, he saved my life. I would be dead without him. I know that. She says. This is not about you right now. She faces Logan again. You are not my father. Do not make deals for me like I am still 10. Something dark flickers in his eyes. I am nothing like your father. Then stop acting like you own me. She says. Silence slams down. Vincent quietly backs out of the doorway. Logan speaks first. His voice is low and rough. I saw you scraping together tips and paychecks, trying to chip away at a mountain you did not build. I paid it because I could, because I wanted you free. Free people do not have to ask permission to breathe. She says. Free people know the terms of their own lives. Her eyes burn. She refuses to let the tears fall. I need some air. Lola. He says, stepping toward her. She steps back. I am not running. She says. I am pausing. There is a difference. She grabs her jacket and leaves before anyone can stop her. The door closes behind her with a quiet click that echoes through the house. For 3 days, Logan moves through his routines on autopilot. The house feels colder than it ever did before she arrived. Meals are eaten alone. The kitchen smells like nothing. Vincent finally snaps. Go get her. He says. Or I quit and open a coffee truck. You would hate customer service. Logan says. I hate watching you mope more. Vincent says. Fix it. Lola crashes on her friend Mia's couch, then rents a tiny room above a laundromat. She picks up extra shifts at the dessert shop. She makes new flavors and doodles designs for a bright yellow food truck in the margins of order lists. Mia watches her slam a tray into the oven. You miss him, she says. I miss his dishwasher, Lola says. The thing deserved its own fan club. And? Mia asks. And? Lola admits. I miss the way he almost smiles when he pretends he is not listening to me. Across the river, Logan wears a path in his office rug. He reads reports he does not absorb. He goes home to a house that has gone back to being a museum. Security keeps a distant eye on Lola's new neighborhood. She does not know, but he does. He sees the long hours at the shop, the late night walks home. He cracks on a Thursday. That night, the bell above the dessert shop door rings as Lola wipes down the last table. Sorry, she calls. We are closed. I will overpay. A familiar voice says. Heavily. She straightens slowly. Logan stands just inside, out of his suit and into dark jeans and a Henley that makes him look disarmingly human. In his hands is a ridiculous bouquet of sunflowers and tulips. He looks nervous. You are not on the menu, she says. Try the place next door. He steps closer. I came to apologize. He says. Good. She says. You had a lot to be sorry for. He nods. I paid off the debt because I hated the way that number owned you. I did not tell you because I was afraid you would leave. I convinced myself I was protecting you. The truth is, I was protecting myself. She says nothing. I am sorry. He says. For deciding for you. For acting like I owned your choice. I do not. I never did. He holds out the flowers. These are for you. I asked for something bright. The florist threatened to call security. Despite herself, she laughs. You look like that and still scared of florist? I was very specific about the sun. He says. She takes the bouquet. They smell like summer. What do you want, Logan? She asks quietly. He swallows. I want to ask you to come back. Not as collateral. Not as a housemaid. As yourself. She raises an eyebrow. To do what, exactly? He takes a breath. You talked about a food truck once. Sunshine Sweets. You sketched the logo on a napkin. Let me invest. Not as your boss. As your partner. Her heart lurches. You want to own my dream? No. He says quickly. I want to back it. You keep control. Your name on the truck. Your recipes. Your calls. I stand behind you. And, if you let me, beside you. And if I say no? She asks. Then I will still show up to buy cupcakes. He says. And I will still try, probably badly, to win you back. Because somewhere between a smoky casino and my quiet kitchen, you became the only thing in my life that feels real. The bell jingles again. Harry sticks his head in, holding a paper cup. Oh, he says. I can come back later. Get in here, Lola says. Apparently this is a group project. Harry shuffles into the shop. He sees the flowers and Logan's expression and exhales. Good. He says. About time. Dad. Lola warns. Harry lifts his hands. I am just saying, kid, I messed up your life 1,000 times. This man messed it up once, then actually tried to fix it. Maybe listen. She looks at Logan again. Fine. She says. Partners under 3 conditions. His shoulders straighten. Name them. 1. My name goes first on the truck. She says. 2. You do not get to tell me what to bake. Ever. 3. If we do this, we are equals. No debts. No chains. You do not hide things to protect me. He nods. Done. On one condition of my own. Of course. She mutters. What? At some point. He says, voice soft. I get to call you more than my business partner. Like what? She asks. Like my girlfriend. He says. Maybe one day more. Her cheeks heat. One step at a time, Kraus. Is that a yes? he asks. She glances at Harry. He gives the smallest nod. She looks back at Logan and feels her ribs ache with the size of it. Yes, she says. To the truck. To the boyfriend. We will talk about the rest when you pass the cupcake taste test. He lets out a breath that sounds like relief. I will study. She shakes her head, smiling. You better. 3 months later, a bright yellow food truck is parked near a Brooklyn park. On the side, in looping letters, it says, Lola's Sunshine Sweets. Underneath, smaller. Powered by Kraus. The line winds down the sidewalk. Kids press their noses to the glass. Adults pretend they are buying cupcakes for children. Inside the truck, Lola moves like she was born here. She frosts lemon cupcakes, slides trays in and out of the oven, and jokes with customers. Next, she calls. A teenager steps up. You are the girl from that article, she says. The one who turned dead into a dessert truck. Lola laughs. I prefer the girl who weaponized sugar, but sure. Behind her at the sink, Harry scrubs pans and hums. His hands are steady. He keeps a sobriety chip in his pocket and checks it twice a day. Vincent leans against a nearby tree with an iced coffee, running numbers on his phone. He keeps a separate spreadsheet titled, Boss's Happiness Index. Logan stands under the same tree, sleeves rolled up, tie missing, watching Lola with an expression that would terrify his competitors. It is too soft for a man with his reputation. At noon, the rush slows. Logan approaches the truck and knocks on the side. Lola turns, face bright. Hey, investor, you are late for your shift. I had to scare 3 bankers first, he says. Important work. He climbs into the truck, squeezing into the narrow space beside her. Their shoulders bump. She does not move away. I have something for you, he says. If it is another laminated schedule, I am quitting, she says. He pulls a small box from his pocket. Her heart flips. You promised me, he says, that we could negotiate the rest later. It feels like later. Her breath catches. Logan. He opens the box. Inside is a simple gold ring with a small diamond and a tiny yellow stone shaped like a sun. He takes a breath and drops to one knee in the cramped truck. He bumps his head on the counter on the way down. Ow, he mutters. Harry turns his back with exaggerated care. Vincent appears at the rear door like a very unsubtle spy. Lola Page. Logan says, looking up at her. The night I met you, I called you less than a dog. I was wrong. You were the only person in that room with teeth. She snorts, tears already burning. Terrible compliment, but go on. You walked into my world with nothing and gave me things I did not know I needed. He says. Laughter, color, a kitchen that smelled like home, a reason to care what happened outside my bank account. He holds up the ring. His hand shakes just a little. I cannot promise I will never be overprotective or stupid again, he says. But I can promise I will never make a decision about your life without you. I will argue with you and listen when you are right, which is most of the time. I will back your dreams with my money and my hands, and any time you say jump, I will ask how high and do we need snacks. She laughs through her tears. Harry sniffs loudly at the sink. Lola. Logan says. Will you marry me? Not as my collateral, not as an item on a balance sheet. As my partner, my equal, my little Sunday. She looks at the truck, the line of customers, her father, the man kneeling in front of her. She sees the casino, the ES, the cold marble house, the cinnamon rolls, the fight at the front door, the ridiculous flowers. She sees every choice she made to stand instead of collapse. Yes, she says. Obviously yes. Who else is going to stop you from naming our first kid after tax return? Vincent chokes. Harry laughs, then wipes his face with the back of his hand. Logan exhales and slides the ring onto her finger. It fits like it has been waiting there. The small crowd outside the truck, who have absolutely been watching, erupts in cheers. Someone yells, free cupcakes. Half off for the next 10 minutes. Lola calls. Logan groans. You are going to bankrupt us. Relax, she says, tugging him up and kissing him while half of Brooklyn whistles. Love is an investment. Cupcakes are marketing. That night, when the truck is closed and the park has emptied, they sit on the back step, legs dangling, fingers intertwined. The ring catches the streetlights. Do you ever think about the casino? She asks. Every day. He says. If I could go back, I would change what I said to you. Same, she says. I would ask for a better contract and a signing bonus. He smiles, then sobers. I still hate gambling, he says. I still hate what your father did. Me too, she says. But if he had not dragged us into that mess, I would not have walked into your world. He looks at her. I would have found you eventually. I am very stubborn. She leans her head on his shoulder. I know, she says. That is why I am saying yes to forever. He kisses her hair. Forever it is. The city hums around them, lights blinking like distant stars. Somewhere in Queens, a casino flickers on, hungry for the next desperate soul. Somewhere in Brooklyn, a bright yellow food truck sleeps, ready to open in the morning. Debt brought them together. Love pays it off in full.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.